6:20 here on the morning show, 1330 WEBY, Northwest Florida's Talk Radio. We have a guest here. We're going to have a regular feature on our show here featuring Pastor James Johnson of the Pine Forest Estates Baptist Church. And so let's bring him on right now. Good morning, Pastor Johnson. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Greg. I'm doing fine. How are you?
Oh, having a wonderful time. But you have some comments for us, and I think if I remember talking about the Parkland shooting, you just had an article in the Pensacola News Journal, if I remember, and you have some views you want to share with us.
Well, yes, sir. Yeah, I guess I personally am just disappointed with the direction of the conversation. The tragedy there, the Parkland shooting, the conversation across the country has really been all about guns. And my article kind of makes the case that we shouldn't blame God and we shouldn't blame guns for the tragedy there at Parkland, but we should blame really the shooter's evil heart. I feel like blaming guns for shooting people is like blaming pencils for misspelling words. I mean, it's absurd. That gun didn't walk itself into that school. That young man murdered 17 precious souls. And really the root of the problem was his evil heart. I'm reminded of the Stone versus Graham court decision, the Kentucky court decision that extracted the Ten Commandments from our public schools. And I think it would have been a good thing for that young man to grow up in a school where he saw on a daily basis, prominently displayed somewhere in that school, the commandment, thou shalt not kill. And I think keeping God in the public square really could have an effect on these kinds of things, as opposed to, the CNN town hall, which really just exacerbated the national anxiety over this tragedy, where they're talking about guns and these kinds of things. So as a pastor, my conviction would be that the gospel is the answer to these kinds of tragedies. And really the gospel is the answer on every level, even for the grieving families. That shooter killed 17 people, and those families are grieving, and I believe Jesus provides perfect peace. The gospel would be the answer for not only those grieving families, but for preventing this kind of thing from happening in the future. Really, Jesus can control the heart. We're new creatures in Christ once we trust in Him. So I think really keeping the gospel in the public square is going to have a huge effect on a society, and specifically on a depraved heart, which that shooter showcased in a real tragic way. So.
Very interesting. I really appreciate your views here, and I'm hoping that folks, because this is an emotional time for people to, as we try and work through and process this information. So I do appreciate you coming on the air with us, and thank you very much.
Hey, thank you so much, Greg. Have a great day.
You too. There we go. Pastor Johnson of the Pine Forest Estates Baptist Church will be joining us every week, usually Mondays, but we have a Tuesday call today, and so he should be featuring Monday about this time, around 6:15, 6:18 in the morning. And there we go. I want to thank the pastor very much for joining us. It's 6:23 here on the morning show, 1330 WEBY, Northwest Florida's Talk Radio.